With number 2, it says, a container holds 5 1/4 quarts of water. How many cups of water can 3 containers hold? So it's 1 container. So this is a multi-step problem. Now I will admit, when I did this study guide myself at home, my brain was tired. So I messed it up myself, and when they told me the problem, the answer this morning, I was like, oh wait, I messed up. So my answer was wrong the first time I did it. So when I worked it the second time, I was like, oh, there we go. Duh. So, you know, old Rusty Crusty Dusty should not try to do math at 9 o'clock at night. So when you have, if you got 63 cups, you are correct. If you didn't get 63 cups, you are not. So, I'm going to show you how to get 63 cups. If you have 5 1/4 quarts, now this is only 1 container. How many containers are there? 3. 3 containers. So, the easiest thing to do, go ahead and figure out how many quarts that is. 3 times 5, 15. 3 times 1, 3. Bring the 4. So that is 15 3/4 quarts. You need to change that to cups. The question is in cups. So we need to know this is quarts. How many cups is that? So 15 3/4 times 1 quart. Let me extend the page so you can see. 15 3/4 of times whatever. How many cups are in 1 quart? 4. It's 4 cups. 4 times 15. This is 20. This is 6. So 4 times 15 is 60. 4 times 3 is 12. Bring my 4. This is improper. I can't keep this. 60. 12/4 is 60 plus 3. 63 cups. Ma'am? So either way, you're still having to multiply it by 3. So if you do 15 3/4, no, wait, let me go back up. So I could do this, having to do the cups, and then multiply it by 3. But you're still having to do the same steps the other way around. So it's not any easier, it's just the other way. Right? It's not any easier, it's just opposite. Norm point. Is it any easier? Well, the numbers might be a little bit smaller. So 21 cups, 3 containers, 21 times 3. You're still having to do the same steps, you just less fractions. Forgot to multiply it by 3. Because you have 3 containers. You have to read the whole thing. The 3 containers got equal. Don't do math at 9 o'clock at night when you're old. 7 gallons of peanut butter is used to fill 15 empty jars. If each jar holds the same amount of peanut butter, how many gallons will each jar hold? Express as a fraction and simplify if possible. How much will each jar hold?
2 and 1/7.
Yes. Okay, so I want to ask you about that. So if you're telling me 2 and 1/7, if there are 15 jars, right? And each, that's 15, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 jars. And if you tell me 2 and 1/7, so that's 2 gallons and 1/7 of a gallon. So you did 15 sevenths. So then each jar is going to get 2 and 1/7. All 15 jars. If each jar got 2 and 1/7, am I going over 7 gallons of peanut butter?
Okay, I did not understand that. We went all the way from that and got 7:15.
Because if I took this, I would end up with at least 30 gallons of peanut butter. That would be 30 gallons of peanut butter. All I have is 7 gallons of peanut butter. And I'm dividing it by 15 jars.
Oh, no wonder.
Oh!
Oh.
I can't do 7. I can't do it the way at first I kind of thought this, but then I kind of thought with my reasonable answer, can this be a reasonable answer? If I had 15 gallons of peanut butter, like I went to Sam's or something, sure, I could have 2 gallons of peanut butter if I went to Sam's or Costco. But I didn't. I only had 7 gallons of peanut butter with 15 jars, and I'm having to separate it to where each one only had 7/15 of a gallon. So this is not a reasonable answer. You really have to stop and think sometimes. Is it reasonable? Does that make sense? Because if you took 2 and 1/7 and multiplied that by 15 jars, you would have 30 and 15 sevenths, which would give you 32 and 1/7 gallons, which is way more peanut butter than you started off with.
And way more than you ever needed.
Well, you never have too much peanut butter. But that's way more than you started off with, and you only had 7 gallons.
That's easy.
So it's 7 gallons divided by 15 jars. Okay? Not 15 divided by 7. I know. I was guilty of doing the same thing when 9 o'clock. I know. I'm doing like that. George, okay. This is an early quarter question. And I made up a rhyme for how to do this. George has 15 baseball cards. He gives 6 cards to Johnny. God, there you are again, Johnny. Jeez. I'm for real. First, you're like doing math wrong in that one problem, trying to say that multiplication always makes numbers bigger. Now you're taking people's baseball cards.
I like being a fisherman better than all this.
George has 15 baseball cards. He gives 6 cards to Johnny and 3 cards to Chad. Do you see a number sentence on the study guide that looks like this?
Yes.
There's not one on there that looks like that. Okay. But there's a little rhyme or a little saying that I made up that goes with what you're supposed to do when you do this. Do you remember? No. When you, in another sentence, subtract, combine in the back. When you have subtract, add in the back. Because it's easier to add those numbers and then subtract them from the back. Does it ring a bell? Yes. Because if I had $15 or he has those cards, it's easier to say, okay, I gave those away, I gave those away. I had a total of 9 that I gave away. Subtract that from 15. Rather than I had 15, I gave away 6, I gave away 3. It's like I gave away 9, subtract that from 15. They're not even asking you for a solution. They're saying what number sentence goes with that problem.
But can you give an answer?
But they're not asking you to. They're just saying what number sentence matches it.
I got it.
So if you have this, which is not wrong, this is not wrong, DeMarco. This is not wrong, but it's easier to take the 2 numbers in the back, combine them, and subtract the sum from the number in the front. So if you have subtract, add in the back.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
I hope so, because I said it a whole lot. I even made that little snazzy rhyme and everything. Mandy measured the weight of her purses. The results are in the line plot below. That line plot. How many purses weighed more than half a pound? How do you know, Rodriana, where to get your answer?
What she sampled by 2, 6 by 2. You get wait. No,
Please stop moving the desk around. Very good. She said once you simplify 3, 6 by 3, you can see that that is equal to 1/2 because 1/2 was not on the line plot. But 3, 6 is equivalent to 1/2, and you look at everything that comes after it. You look at 4, 6, and you look at 6, 6. And there were 5 purses. So your answer was 5. What was the total weight? So the way that you can figure that out, and you cannot do those in your head, the number sentence that you could do to solve that, when you have 1 6, instead of doing 1 6 plus 1 6 plus 1 6 plus 1 6, you can do 1 6
Times 4.
times 4 plus
4,
4 6
times 3.
times 3 plus
6,
6 6 times 2. That's what your number sentence could look like. So 1 6 times 4 would be 4 6 plus 12 6 plus
Wait.
that yeah, that is technically 2 because 6 6 is equal to 1.
12.
It would be 12 6 or just 2 because 6 6 is equal to 1 and 1 times 2 is 2. So 4 6 12 6 is equal to 4 6 12 6 is equal to 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 4 6 equal to 4 and 4 6 can be simplified to 4 and 2/3. And you cannot do any of that in your head. No, you cannot.
Wait a minute. Miss Mason.
My name is not Miss Mason.
Miss. Oh, okay. Okay. I see. I will know.
Okay, I'm going to check on number 7 because I was just saying that it was 5. But I'm going to check on number 7 because that one just seemed way too simple. Number 7 seems way too simple. I'm going to check on that one. It's got to be way more complicated than what it was. Number 8. In a room of 49 people, 4/7 of them are girls. How many boys are in the room? So 4/7 of 49. So you've got 1 7. 4 times 7 equals 28. That's not the answer though. That tells me girls. 4/7 are girls. So that tells me the girls. My question is boys. 49 minus 28. Sorry. 21 are boys. The answer is 21. Or you could have looked at it as if 4/7 are girls, then that means that 3/7 are boys. Then you could have just done 3/7 of 49. 3 times 7 is 21. But you're not, you still didn't answer the question. You just gave me a fraction, but you didn't give me a number. Because how many? You still have to give an answer. But it says how many, not what fraction. How many? How many? You guys have to be paying attention. Not so much talking. Joe spent 3/5 of his money on a new TV. This is one of those magic number questions. Joe spent 3/5 of his money on a new TV. So if 3/5 of his money was on the TV, and the TV is $225. So 1, 2, 3 parts is $225. So 225 divided by 3. So 3 goes into 22 7 times. 3 goes into 15 5 times. So each unit, I divided 225 by 3 because we have 3/5. So then each piece is 75. If those are 75, what are these? 75. They want to know how much money did he have to start with.
Oh, do you add that? Do 75 times 5?
75 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 7 is 35 plus 2. So he had $375.
They should also do like another question how much you have left.
There are 30 students in a class. 2/5 of the class, 2/5 of the students bring their own lunches. How many students bring their lunches?
Is this not like a boys and girls one?
Nope. This says 2/5 of the students bring their own lunches. How many students bring their lunches? How many? Well,
Yes.
yes. I changed the number because the number that was in there, you would have ended up with a fraction of the students. Please.
And how is it simplified, right? Bad to do that.
Number 11 is a problem that we have done 2 other times. Stop. We've done this problem 2 other times. With the farmer, with the eggs. You have to know how many eggs are in a dozen. You have to be able to go from eggs to dozens and back. You have to pay attention to the problem. So, a farmer collected 14 dozen eggs. So if he had 14 dozen eggs, and how did you figure out how many eggs that was? 14 times 12. Because 1 dozen eggs is 12 eggs. We had 14 dozen, so you multiply that by 12. So this is 8, this is 2, this is 4, this is 1. So that's 168 total eggs that he collected. But then it says, out of that, he sold 60 eggs. So 168 minus 60. And see, I label everything. He sold 60 and gave the rest to friends and neighbors. So 108 eggs given away. So that I don't forget what everything was. I label everything. How many, see, we've got how many eggs he gave away, so then sometimes when you label things, you don't forget where everything was. How many dozens of eggs did he give away? So, what do you need to do to figure out how many dozens he gave away?
12 divided by 100.
Is it 12 divided by 100? So, 12 outside the house, 108 inside the house. 108 divided by 12 is 9.
And I had 0 legs. I mean, ankles.
So, 9 dozens given away. So that was 108 eggs given away, 9 dozen given away. So those are the answers to A right there.
I did 9 dozen or 108.
He sold each dozen for $3.25. How much did he earn from the eggs he sold? So did he sold 60 eggs. Did he sell 60 dozen? No. So if he sold 60 eggs, 60 divided by 12 is how many dozen? 5 dozen. $3.25. So times 5. Oh, sorry. Whew, my goodness gracious. And then my 2 decimals. But he must not be in it for the money. Who cares? It's not even the point.
I totally forgot. I didn't read the word dozen. I thought it meant I thought it was eggs.
So, if you just do it one step at a time, the problems are not that hard to complete. Read one thing at a time. It tells you what to do. Three-sevenths of a number is 24. What is the number? That's another magic number. Three-sevenths of a number is 24. So I got 1, 2, 3 parts equals 24. So 24 divided by 3 equals what? 8. So each unit is equal to 8. So what does that mean about these? They are equal to 8. So I need to figure out what this whole thing is.
So times 8 equals
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
It's 56.
So if you're able to do it now, then you should have been able to do it earlier, which means that you'll be able to do it tomorrow. A gardener has 50 pounds of soil. He used 2/3 of the soil for his garden. That is not going to go evenly. Well, it's not. The 3 can't go into 10. You. 33 1/3. So he used 33 1/3. That is a never-ending decimal. So that is the first question. There are two questions. There should be two answers. How many pounds did he have left? If he started with 50 and he used 33 and 1/3, if you tell me 17 and 2/3, you are incorrect.
No.
You cannot take a third of a piece of pizza when you've got 50 unsliced pizzas. This is a second quarter skill that we did to death. Yes, ma'am?
You have to turn the 50 into three-thirds, and then the 50 plus 49 to go in.
Thank you, Rodrian. I have 49 and take one of those pizzas and slice it up. 3/3. 49 and 3/3. I still have, this is still equal to 50. Still the same thing. I just took one of my pizzas and cut it up. Did that to death. Second quarter. Now I can subtract it. Do my fractions, I get 2/3, 49 minus 33, 16. 16 and 2/3 pounds is left. I was getting kind of worried there for a minute, Lacey. You had to look like, what? But then you're like, oh yeah. I was like, oh no. You had a face there for a minute. Why am I woeing? Sarah has 16 quarts of paint. She uses 6/8 of it to paint a wall in her house. That leaves her with 12. Then she uses, it doesn't say then, but you can't use 16 both times, because once you use it, do you still have paint, the whole gallon of paint or the whole quart? No, she used 6/8 of it, and then she used the 1/6 of it. So she had the 16 quarts, she used 6/8 of it. Then, this is what she has. She used 1/6 of it. Okay, you following me? This is what she had left over when she was done. She had 16 quarts. She used 6/8 of it. She had 12 quarts left. When she had 12 quarts, she used a 1/6 of it, and she had 2 quarts.
So is mine down?
As she's using it, is she still having 16 quarts? No.
More.
Yeah, as she's using it, she's running out. You following what I did? So, she decides that for her next project, she will need 20 quarts of paint. Is she going to need to buy 20 quarts?
No.
How much is she going to need to buy? 18. Because she still has 2 quarts from her last project. So, 20 minus the 2 that she had left. So she only has to buy 18 quarts. So this is really your answer. She only has to buy 18 quarts. She doesn't need the full 20 quarts because she had 2 quarts left over. She had that left over. So it's like I painted Emily's room during Mardi Gras. I bought 2 gallons of paint because the last time I painted her room, I only bought 1 gallon, and darn it, I ran out right as I finished. You needed 2 coats every time you paint something. And I ran out right as I got over her door. So I mean, it's like you could tell that it needed a second coat right as I got there. So this time I was like, I'm not running out of paint this time, and I bought 2 gallons just in case. Paint's expensive too. And I bought 2 gallons. So now it didn't even take the full 2 gallons this time. I'm so mad. So if I paint something this really cute shade of blue, am I going to need to buy any paint? No, because I got a whole stinking gallon of paint. Because nothing.
Wait, yeah.
Because I've got a whole gallon of paint laying around. She's not going to need to buy 2 quarts because she still has some left over from before.
So she can use that.
So she can use these that she still has because she's doing it with gray. She was using gray. She's going to use more gray. She doesn't have to buy 2 because she's already got it. It'll equal this one. Yes. You made me question what I was doing. 8 goes into 16 2 times? Huh?
I thought it was 1/6 after 16
Okay, and then which expression represents the phrase 5 times the quotient of 4 and 7? And obviously that would be C.
Well, yeah, that's easier.
That's really easy. Number 16. You really need, Brayden, you really need to just look at number 16. Yes. No, I thought you were asking me a question. What were you going to give me the answer? On 16? It is 49.
Yeah, you got it.
16 is C. Now, for number 16, if you worked it, it was really important that you did 1 step at a time. It makes it a whole lot easier. If you just read the whole thing, it's very overwhelming. You need to do 1 step at a time. So, the important thing is that there are, 6 identical buses. You need to know there are 6 buses. Johnny, put it down. You know that there are 35 seats on each bus. That's important. All the seats on 5 buses were filled. So there are 5 buses that are full. 35 seats on those first 5 buses were full. You're trying to figure out how many adults went on the field trip. So that's people. You got to work on the people. So on the first 5 buses, all 35 seats were full. So you're working on the people. So obviously there were 175 people filling up those first 5 buses. The 6th bus had 3/5 of the seats filled. Well, there are 35 seats on that 6th bus. 3/5 of those 35 seats. 21 people on that 6th bus. So these are the first 5 buses. This is the 6th bus. 1/4 of all the passengers were adults. So we need to figure out how many passengers in all. So 175 plus 21. 6, 9, 1. 196 total passengers. You writing any of this down? No, it's supposed to say, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. So 1/4 of the passengers were adults. 1/4 of 196. So we end up with 196 over 4. So 4 into 196. 4 into 19 goes 4 times. 4 into 36 goes 9 times. 49 adults. And just did one step at a time. Use the information as it was given. What, Jeremy? It did. And then finally, you have 4 written expressions, and you really have to use your order of operations to figure out which one gives you the answer. You have to work them. Do not work them in your head. You do have to use the PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, which you're not going to use, multiplication, division, adding and subtracting. Do not assume that since, yes, A is the answer, that A is going to be the answer tomorrow. Do not memorize the answers like you did on science. Don't memorize, some people memorized aluminum on the science, and it wasn't aluminum on the science. Yeah, it was something totally different. Or on the first math EQT this time, get out of the trash. Not my problem right this minute. Or the very first math EQT where you memorized the study guide and it was nothing like it. Or the answers were different. That's not even important right this minute. Like I just said, so you'll be losing points. Not important right this minute. 3rd time I've now said it. What? Not even important. Not important. So, when you have the number sentences, you have 4 times 3 times 3 plus 10. You're looking for one that has an answer of 46. You do the parentheses first. So, parentheses first, 9, and then you do multiplying before you add. Not even the fact that it's left to right, you do multiply before you add. So 4 times 9 is 36, plus 10 is 46. Then you have 4 times 3 times 3 plus 10. Parentheses go first, 13. 4 times 3 times 13. So since you've got multiply and multiply, you go left to right. 4 times 3 is 12 times 13, 156. Not the answer.
Oh.
It's 110 over.
So 4 times 3 times 3 plus 10. So parentheses is 12 times, oh my goodness, 13. So 12 times 13 again, which is 156. Wrong again. And then 3 plus 10 times 4 times 3. And so you've got your parentheses that you do first. Now, it's this. We're not computing stuff in our head. You assume you know what it is, but you have to do order of operations. 4 times 3. 12. Now, if you're telling me that it's 156 again, it is not. Because you multiply before you add. Oh yeah, order of operations. So this is actually 120 plus 3. So your answer is actually 123. Order of operations, you multiply before you add. It doesn't matter. You don't go left to right. You only go left to right when you have a multiply and divide or multiply, multiply, multiply. Only when you've got that stuff in the same sentence. So here you had add and multiply. Multiply is way more important than add. That's why I said do not do it in your head. Multiply comes before add.
Wait, how did you get me?
Because I had to multiply 10 times 12 before I added in that 3.